What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Angry Jack LeBron Bricks. It's that time. Saturday, we got Tenchi, Nutjob, Stocking, Brian, all these motherfuckers in his house. What's up, fellas? How's it going? All right, so I actually got a little bit of a show here planned for you guys, as opposed to my normal just fucking winging it. We have a Comic-Con that happens out here in Utah about twice a year, I guess. We have one in the very beginning of the year. We have one that just is wrapping up today, actually. And I like to go to these types of events and see what kind of cool shit I can come across. And one thing that I was really prevalent this year. Hey, what's up, Paula? At the show was dice. Just a shit ton of D20 dice. Like the Dungeons and Dragons style dice. But they have a lot of metal ones, different ones with different features and stuff. But they didn't have any, and I think it's because it was in Utah. But the ones I was looking for are the ones that had on, instead of a 1, it says like fuck. Because for those of you who don't play like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, typically speaking, like when you're rocking a D20 dice, if you get a 1, that's like a fumble usually. It's kind of a trip. Anyway, I saw a bajillion shops that had dice. Then I saw a bunch that had like those little Lego miniatures and stuff, and I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. But then I came across a guy who had little Legos and stuff, but they were done up a little different. He actually took the extra care to put them in cases and actually get some art to go along with them to kind of create cool little deals. It kind of reminded me of the old blister packs of the little action figures we had as we were growing up. And this is the back side. So you can actually take the artwork, flip them around, and make them look like little action figures. You know what I'm saying? Just a quick visit to let the crew know I'm still kicking. Nice, Tenchi. Yeah, you're still kicking. And so the name of this company is, let's see, it's Custom Miniature Case is what he calls these things. And see, the artwork on this one is really hard for me to read the thing on it. Let me try the Predator one. No, Predator one's not going to do me any good either. The Alien one. build-a-brick.com. And what's cool is I had a couple other ones too. So this one is the Alien. And you can see on the bottom, see that little sticky he's got in there? So that way, if it's turned, the little Lego dude doesn't go flying. Which I was like, dude, all the attention to detail that he did on these was dope. So there's Alien. And then I had another one, which was a Predator, which was really, really super cool. And the dude is the same age as me, and he had one for like Toys R Us, had Jeffrey the giraffe, some other really, really super cool shit. And I was thrilled to find out he's actually local to me, so I'm gonna actually reach out to him later, talk to him. I might even see what's involved with him making these. And I was thinking it would be really neat to have some Magic Really Sucks, some of these done, maybe even some for some of the other stories I'm working on. But I don't know. We'll see if that's even feasible. I don't even know. But the other thing that I saw that I just had to get. So a lot of times when you go to Comic-Con and stuff, there's like a ton of really good art. You come across some really, really, really amazing fucking artists. And a lot of times, price point also on these. These are like $15 a pop, but yeah, special at show, 3 for $35. So I was like, yeah, let's get the 3. Get the Aliens, the Predator, and then get the Evil Dead, Ash character from Army of Darkness. But anyway, so I walked around. We did like, I want to say 15,000 steps. It was close to like 6-7 miles of walking that we did. I mean, it's a big fucking show. And through all of that, all up and down the artist stuff. Like if I had money and I had a big enough place just to do a bunch of print art and everything else, oh my god, FanX is the motherfucking spot to go for that good stuff. But um, I came across this one guy's stuff. He had some things on display there, but he actually had a big ass book. Okay, and what this one is the unofficial guide of Pokemon Anatomy. So Pokemon Anatomy, right? Now he signed it, so it's signed right down there. But I will show you, basically in a nutshell, what this thing is all about. You see it right there? He breaks down the full anatomy of Pokemon, which is crazy, right? Here, let me get one that's really neat. Oh, this is good enough, I guess. So look at that. Look at that. This completely broken down. All the organs, skeletal structure, blah, blah, blah. And, characteristics, physiology, behavior, key facts, lifestyle, and abilities. It's just dope. He did it with like a ton of the old school Pokemon in a big, giant, thick ass book. He sold this shit $35. 35. Other people had like art prints up for like $15 for one print, but this is a book of his art and all the other stuff, and it's pretty dope. Pretty dope. The attention to detail and all of it. I mean, this is a cool little conversational piece. So anyway, those are the two things that I walked out of this year's FanX with, just because I was like, dope, 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 dope. And I wanted to share that with you guys just because it was super duper cool. And it was neat. The other thing that I got wasn't at Comic-Con. It was at Smith's, my local grocery store. Thanos Pez. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta get this. Wait, come on, there we go. Oh, candy broke inside. That's why it's not pulling forward. But anyway, should have used that for the Sunday show. Pokey ass. Funny. Alright. What's that? Bronx, what's up? Did get my notification? Nah, I'm not surprised. Fucking YouTube always likes to make me work for it. You know what I mean? Let's see, what else? So, I had a couple of things I wanted to do some reviews on for you guys pretty quickly here. So, Pet Sematary, Stephen King, that came out earlier this year, I think, or was it late last year? It was sometime around there. And we got Nutjob up in here too. What's up, brother? Bronx, Brian, Garen. So I was like, man, they're doing a rehash of this. Well, let me put it this way, guys. If you've been holding out on watching Pet Sematary, the new one, the remake, you can watch it. It's actually not a complete rehash. In fact, there was substantial differences that made it kind of fun. So, anyway, check that out. Now, hey, Lyra. It Chapter 2. Fuck. Well, I don't like when movies try to fucking program me. I really don't. I get kind of irked. And going into this, I kind of had heard some gay stuff. And I was kind of like, okay, yeah, they had some gay bashing in the book and this, that, and everything. I was kind of like, okay, whatever. But they did a stretch with a certain main character that I was like, oh my fucking god, are you serious? So I was like, damn. 3 hours long. 3 hours long. and it was okay. Like, I didn't find myself falling asleep or anything, but the fucker felt like it was kind of dragging along a little bit. All right, Tenchi, later, man. Um, but don't worry, please get back to my file. I find my thing too. Okay, good for you. Um, but yeah, not that one, Brian. Not that one. Not that guy. Uh, anyway, I was kind of like, are you fucking serious? And even like the way they depict the monster, like the clown thing, like I joked with my wife, I said they made like a nasty vagina looking thingy, put a negative aspect on the vagina. And I was like, this is like, I was like seriously disappointed. Like, me and my wife were both like, damn. Like, we and we must not have been the only one because we were in a packed theater, and it got to the end, and one person, I kid you not, one person saw, and we were like, that must have been the gay guy here in the audience, because it felt like at the end of it, it felt like a gay anthem type thing, like the ending monologue and the things that they do kind of just felt like, okay, here we go. Are we seriously going to do that? Are we seriously going to do this? And it's like I've been saying forever and a day. Like, I really don't mind people being gay. It doesn't bug me. It really doesn't. But you know what does bug me? Programming. Programming, indoctrination, that shit pisses me off every fucking time. So I'm watching this hyped ass movie, 3 hours long, mentally fatigued by the time it gets to the end sequence. We had to catch the late show because it had sold out. Like, the show is just making money. I mean, it's making money beyond belief. And watching it compared to the original It, not It Part 1, but the first It, uh, I didn't see any real improvements. I mean, the actors were great. Don't get me wrong, all the actors were amazing. They all did great performances. Um, the kids that came back, they were older, so they had to use some CG to kind of keep them looking the same as when they did their roles the first time. And that was a little bit jarring. And you're watching and you're trying to figure out why it feels wrong, because it really, they did a good job with the effects. They did a good job with some of the scary parts. And I wouldn't even say scary. I'd say creepy with a few jumps mixed in there. But other than that, I mean, I joked with my wife. We were leaving. I said, for an adult watching It Chapter 2, there's really nothing scary there. I mean, it's okay. It's got some disturbing visuals and things of that nature. But what's up, Yak? But as far as scary, that shit wasn't scary. Now, if you're a child though, dude, don't bring your children. Don't fuck up and bring an impressionable child to this movie, because it will. This looks like classic conditional programming, right? Scare the shit out of somebody, and then right when the brain is recovering from the trauma, introduce the programming that you want the subject to respond to. And it's like, I was like, are you fucking serious? I felt like I was being MK Ultra'd. I was like, holy shit. Are you seriously trying to MK Ultra me with some sleep deprivation and some fucking horrible imagery followed by some programming? It's like, only thing missing out of this shit is some LSD. But yeah, we were disappointed. We were really, really disappointed with it. And it's unfortunate because with the caliber of actors that they had, it was amazing. Now, one thing that was the one good part of this movie was the humor. There was quite a bit of fucking humor in this bitch that worked really well. Some of the banter between the kids, I mean, not kids, the adults, fucking beautiful. Beautiful. Some of the banter was just perfect, you know? Um, and, some of the stuff that they said in regards to why they chose to uh, have the extra gay stuff in there, it's just bullshit. It's just bullshit. It's just retardedly bad. So anyway, other than that, I mean, if they do an edit and they cut out, fuck, they could have cut, man, they could have cut an hour out of this thing easy. They could have cut an hour out of this easily, and it would have had better pacing. It would have moved better. It would have been leaner, and it just would have been a better movie. They drew out certain scenes, and I knew they were trying to get this dramatic effect, and it was kind of like, okay, you're failing. It's not working. And so Stephen King's in it too, so I'm kind of like, oh, okay. So now the creators and stuff, they're like doing guest appearances and shit in there. Um, it's What's up, Simicon? Let's see. I watched it last night. Fell asleep, left early. More than 2.5 hours. Are you kidding? Yeah, 2 hours and 50 minutes. It was fucking stupid. The gay stuff wasn't even an hour. I mean, it's not like it had that much in it. But the parts that they had were pretty blatant with the gay agenda. And the funny thing is, I saw a lot of people in the LGBT community freaking out that they had a gay bashing murder scene in the very beginning of it, and they're like, you might get triggered. And I'm just kind of thinking to myself, you know what? I have never seen like the black community come out and say, oh, hey, black community, be careful. There's a movie coming out that has a black character that is brutalized and fucking killed in the beginning of this fucking movie. You might get triggered. It's like, I think the black community has a lot more horrific depiction of shit that takes place in racist stereotypical movies than anything inside of this. I was like, give me a fucking break. And that kind of leads me to a segue point of some shit that I'm experiencing on my own here. This little snowflake pussy generation shit is really getting out of hand here. I went and looked at some of my comments earlier today, and I had people disliking some really old videos of mine, namely the SXB versus M4X Punisher, where I had a deer leg and I had a pig's head that I was doing testing on. And my thinking is, if you're looking at an SXB, you're looking at getting an SXB or an M4X Punisher, I mean, specifically those two blades, really, okay? One of the core aspects of the SXB and the M4X Punisher is as a combat blade, right? You could also use those in bushcraft if you wanted to, but you could also use it in prepping, prepping and cleaning game and things of that nature. And anyway, this person felt obliged to leave me a comment saying he disliked it because of animal cruelty. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? And I'm like, and I guess, let me guess, a fucking vegan, right? And I went and looked on this fucking thing, and sure enough, it's one of these guys. All I saw was flowers and vegetables, and I was like, okay, I don't need to dig any further than this. But I'm like, why the fuck are you even on my shit in the first place? Brian, I was, and I did film something, but we have some family things that have popped up that is not going to allow that to happen. So, and again, it's this pussified generational thing where people seeing like me doing a video with my daughter and seeing her doing things could theoretically get people get their panties in a bunch. I don't know. I don't know. It's some really dumb shit. Where you're not really free to do shit anymore because now you've got these fuckheads coming up fucking it up for everybody else. You know. Um. Yeah. You know what? I normally just ignore them, Renee. I normally do. I just ignore them. But there's something about right now that I'm tired. Frankly, I'm tired of it. I'm really tired of these disrespectful motherfuckers coming onto other people's hard work and talking shit. They don't understand the amount of work that goes into stuff, and the amount of physical injuries that we get, and the amount of money that we spend. For example, let's see, Heels on the Road to Life. Pighead series is what brought me to your channel when PM 101. Shout you out. They were good. Yeah, I enjoy doing them. But there logistically are a lot of problems with the frozen pig heads. Number one, I have to drive almost an hour to get these fucking frozen pig heads, and every time I get them, because I'm driving way the fuck out there, I try to get 3 or 4 fucking heads. Heads are $15 a pop. That's $60 plus gas. I'm already in it, like $100 just on materials, right? Then I have to buy the blades. Because despite what some people think, I don't get a ton of free shit. Every so often I'll get something sent to me for free, but it's 20% of the time. The other 80% of the time, I'm coming out of my pocket. So now I've got a daughter who just started college. I'm paying for that. We got a brand new house. I'm paying for that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, hey, what's up, Stevie G? So, it's like, okay, so we go through all this hassle of setting up time to shoot. So we do one video. I go to do a shoot. Back in the day when I did hood testing, car testing, I mean, not car testing, a metal door, pig head, blah, blah, blah. That was half of a day. Half a day spent shooting raw footage. Then the other half of the day spent editing. So you spend a whole 12, 14 hours a day editing one fucking video. And then you have people coming up talking shit. Oh, you're a fat fuck. You don't know anything. Blah, blah, blah. Right? I did a couple cooking ones, Brian. I did a couple of those that were actually fun. And then I get, people talking shit. And remember, this is a couple years back, when I was doing these. And, now I haven't done one of these videos in a minute, and I got people, commenting on them, and I delete a ton of shit. But I get like, you're a fat ass, you don't know shit, you're gonna die, kill yourself, blah, blah, blah. It's just, the fuck, really? It's like, okay, whatever. Then you get the channel, the platform itself fucking you, right? So the platform is fucking us on a regular basis. And so I was just looking at my analytics. This next month coming up, I'm going to make a whopping $5.77. So I make $5, a month on this shit. That don't even cover a fucking frozen pig head. It don't even cover the rope. The wood. I'm kind of local to you. Check out email. Actually, I did see you, Hills. I did check your stuff out. I actually looked at some of your stuff. I haven't had a chance to reply back yet because that's the other thing. And then I'll show you guys some other stuff here. So there was a point I got hurt. I got hurt real bad. And my shoulder was jacked. I had really bad tennis elbow that was affecting my grip. And there was one video in particular, and I think it might even have been the SXB, that big bitch. I was swinging and my grip failed on me. So I was swinging, whack, and then my hand loosened at the impact and the blade went flying. And just barely missed my fucking leg. And I probably have had 4 or 5 of those close calls where I could have really fucked myself up. And then it was kind of like, why? You know what I mean? Yeah, right. Not tennis elbow, but knife elbow. Because I was on the every weekend I was going out and just going ham on 2x4s, pig heads, nonstop, stabbing car hoods, you name it. And every single time I'd impact something, boy, I would feel it. And after a while, man, that shit just started affecting me. Um, Spam. And I'll probably get a flag for that just because that's a copyright song right there. But anyway, I think I caught it fast enough. So then I was like, okay. And then the fucked up thing is, everybody started knowing me as the frozen pighead guy, which I never really want to be known as a frozen pighead guy. Um, and it's kind of funny. It was funny for a while, but then it started to not be funny when I had other things that I was working on. Namely, you know, I also write books. I write a lot of books. But I'm not known as an author. I'm known as the fucking frozen pighead guy, which is kind of funny. And so I started spending time on that because I realized, at $5 a month, if I were to drop dead, I'm really not leaving any kind of a legacy for my family to benefit after I'm dead and buried. So that kind of fucked with my head a little bit, and I was like, okay, you know what? This is really not progressing and segueing into areas like I wanted to. So, like, for example, Prepare Mind 101, he kind of branched in. He was making knives, and now he's doing some other product type offerings and stuff. So he's found ways to kind of monetize outside of the platform, outside of YouTube. I tried doing stuff with like t-shirts. I tried doing stuff with hats and patches and all kinds of other stuff. And I have a hardcore dedicated crew, and you guys are great. But as far as realizing, me continuing to try to grow the frozen pighead empire was a dead end road. It wasn't going to lead to anything. Okay, great. I get to the point where they start sending me an endless supply of fucking flashlights. Whoop the fucking do. I mean, it's really, let's see. Bobby R. Ricardo. The Rider Magic really sucks? Frozen Pighead guy. You mean the Rider Magic really sucks? Chef Angry Jackalope cooked pig cheeks and tongue. Yeah, I've had that recommendation plenty of times, but then the problem there is if I chop the heads and then I cook it, then I can't write those off of my taxes. So it was funny. My tax guy looked at me one year and said, dude, you have close to $600 worth of frozen pig heads that you're writing off of your taxes. And I'm like, yeah. The other thing that was funny is, this is not the first time I had somebody come back and cry that animal cruelty shit on me about the deer legs and the deer heads. And, I point out to people, those were scraps. I went to our local spot where the hunters bring the deers. And when they prep the deer meat and everything else, they cut all those pieces off and they throw them in a big ass trash bin. And then I went and said, hey, I need some legs and stuff to do some hard test stuff on. Can I have them? And they're like, yeah. So this was shit that was in a trash, but I'm being accused of animal cruelty. And I'm just like, you guys are fucking morons. But whatever. And it's just fucking driving me nuts. I tell you, it's so fucking stupid. It's not even funny. And this whole safe place and words hurt. It's like, shut the fuck up and toughen up. You're really fucking killing me here. It's really driving me nuts. We got all this other shit in the world going on, and these motherfuckers want to cry about little bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, so I'm sitting there watching the movie last night, and I'm just shaking my fucking head because I'm so done with it. I'm just so done. It's like, when did um when did sexuality become a defining part of identity? It's like, seriously, it's like, let's get past it, shall we? And then, yeah, Brian, what's funny is I didn't come up with the whole frozen pighead thing. It was one of the viewers. One of the viewers said, "Hey, we have a knife forum group, and we talked about hard use tests, and the best thing to test a knife on is a frozen pig head because pig skin is the closest to human skin, and you don't have to worry about getting in trouble. And if it's frozen, it really is a hard substance to test a blade against." And I did, and I'm like, shit, you're right. This shit is fucking phenomenally ridiculous against the blades. And I chunked up a ton of blades on that shit. So I love the platform. I love using it, but it was just one of those things where I had X amount of time in a day. So in addition to trying to do videos and trying to make books and try to do this, that, and everything else, I'm also a husband. So you have to spend time with your wife or you won't end up with a wife. I have children, so I try to be an active part in my children's lives and spend time with them. Um, and that totally takes away from any of my other spare time for myself, which I'd love to sit and fucking play games and things of that nature and all of that stuff. But I just don't have the time. So it really came down to me deciding what is the priority and what is the most important thing for Robert R. Ricks. What do I really, really, really want to do? And the answer to that is I want to be a author. I want to be able to create content that will be in TV and movies and video games and comic books and things of that nature because I'm a nerd. I'm a geeky guy and I love to tell stories. That's where I want to do things. Truth be told, the only reason Angry Jackalope channel is even still running right now is because of, the dozen or so very vocal, hardcore fans that are like family to me at this point that I wasn't about to abandon. Um, just because I love hanging out with you guys. You know what I mean? Um, and understand that also brings with it its own set of risks. I have quite a few of my lopes that have different ailments and sicknesses and things like that, and I've already lost a few people that I know in my regular life, and then I've lost a very good friend, longtime viewer, Brooke, to the channel. Lost him. He died, and that was a very emotional thing for me. And then one of the other YouTubers that I know, Country Prepper, he died, and that kind of caught me by surprise. And so, a lot of times, like, I sit and I have these extended relationships with folks, and I worry. For example, I hadn't seen Renee for a little bit, so I was actually pretty happy to see him drop a video earlier today, and I was like, oh, fucking great, because I was sitting there thinking about him. He's on my mind. So you can see it's in some ways it's kind of like a really thankless thing that we do, you know. And I try to be every single, like, I had my wife was off tonight and we were talking about stuff we need to get done today, and I was like, hey, I got my show, like, Saturdays and Sundays, unless I'm traveling or something else, I make sure I fucking do the show. I make fucking sure. People like Stevie G. I worry about Stevie G. I worry about my yak. I worry about Vix. I worry about Paula. There's different folks that are part of this that I worry about. Yeah, Brian, he did. He shot 7, right? Renee, I think you said 7 videos. He's gonna be editing and pushing out over the next week or so, and some more stuff. Yep, 71s. So I pay attention. I try to keep track of all you guys. Understand that takes time too. So it's funny when I get people to come and ask me about the videos and stuff like that. I do enjoy geeking out with new gear and stuff like that. One, I just haven't had the money because, you know, every time I do one of these, every time I write a book, it costs me money to actually print proofs up for me to say, yes, this is good to go to press, and then it pushes it out. So I have to spend money. I have to spend money on a ton of stuff, like the online store. That comes out of my pocket every month just to keep that running. The domains for the different websites, that costs me money. The hosting for all of the websites, that costs me money. All these different things just cost money, 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 money. And it just never ends. Just never fucking ends. So, that's the long answer to the question. Hey Rob, why aren't you doing more knife videos? I want to, but I've got only a little bit of gear left that you guys haven't seen tested yet, and I really don't have money to buy more. Like, there's so many blades I want. There are blades like Condor. There's a ton of stuff from Condor I want. There's a ton of stuff from Tops, new stuff I want. It goes on and on and on and on. But I also have to be cautious and make sure I'm covering my prep balance right. So some of the things that I'm struggling with is I want to make sure I have sufficient amount of firearms, sufficient amount of water, sufficient amount of food, sufficient amount of this, that, and everything else. At the end of the day, you only have X amount of money. And then when you factor in shit like $3,000 for my mouth, when everything is said and done, again, that's 3,000 fucking dollars, guys. And it's not like I'm getting raise after raise after raise. In fact, I've been at the same X amount of money for the last 7 years. So 7 years, same amount of money, and to give you in perspective, the discretionary money I used to spend on pig heads and everything else, that shit's gone now because now I got a kid in college that's $1,600 every semester. Sometimes that covers even the book, sometimes not. I have 2 kids in high school now. There's car stuff, gas, food, things of that nature. Then there's it just goes on and on and on, guys. And it's not like on my side I'm bringing in a lot of extra money, and my wife, bless her heart, she's working 2 fucking jobs just so that we can kind of keep things going the way we want them to go. So she comes home fucking exhausted and tired, and it's one of those things that I don't have to disclose this to you guys. I don't have to explain shit to you guys. In fact, only the close people that are here right now even fucking appreciate it. The rest of the fuckheads will be like, yeah, fuck you, dude, make the fucking pig head thing. They don't give a fuck because they don't care. They really don't. They just want what they want, and that's that. You know what I mean? Jay, I tried selling my kids for extra money. Yeah, I thought about that, but then I realized I'd miss them, so I couldn't do that. I would feel really bad, even though they drive me nuts. But it's just one of those things, man, where you try your best. The other thing too that I don't think a lot of people realize is doing these actually I don't think a lot of people know this, but the reason I would do a bunch of testing at one time is a lot of times my back would give out on me, and I'd have 2 or 3 days where I was just in agonizing pain after the fact. So it hurt me physically, and it also hurt me in the wallet to make these fucking videos. And that's why I would get really upset when somebody would come along and it would pot shot the channel and already talk some shit. I mean, yeah, it's real easy to talk shit about something you have no skin in the game on. You have nothing invested in it. You're just coming in, you're looking at, and you talk shit, and you go. And I'm just like, at the end of the day, you get real tired of that. You're like, man, you know what? Come fucking say that to my face, bitch. You know what I mean? And it gets like that. Like, you're like, Say it to my fucking face. See what a fucking man you are. Come say that shit to my fucking face. You know? But it is what it is. That's why this society we live in now is just so fucked up. Is people think they can just say whatever the fuck they want to say. And you know what? It's even starting to get you're even starting to see it in the real world with the way people drive and the way people do things and the way people treat each other. And it's like, it's going to come to a head. It's going to come to a head in a really bad way. And when it does, I'm going to sit back with some fucking popcorn and I'm going to watch and just laugh my ass off. Because, you know, when these shit talking little pussies get checked, then I'm just going to be back. Talk shit, get hit. That's the fucking golden rule, and you must have spent a lot of your life not knowing that fucking rule because you're talking a whole lot of shit, and it's time to come pay that fucking check, bitch. So I don't know. I hate when people say it's a culture. It's not a cultural thing. It's not a cultural thing. It's a cancer. It's a prevalent cancer that has affected every single walk of life. I don't give a fuck, and it's not millennials. I'm seeing grown ass motherfuckers my age and older now acting really shitty and stupid just because they can, you know. And I'm just like, wow, you know. And that's the ones that are really surprising when you see people our age acting like that. You're like, what the fuck is going on here? So, you know, there's people saying that, you know, there's more prevalence of cosmic rays penetrating our brains and causing us all to go kind of crazy and whatnot and stuff. But, you know, at the same time, even when you know you're going kind of crazy, there's still a part of you that knows right and wrong, and you're still choosing to be a douchebag. That's the thing that cracks me up, because everybody, and this is an absolute, everybody makes decisions. You know what I mean? I'm driving down the street. Do I want to make a right? Do I want to make a left? You're making decisions. And it's like, I look at some of the shit people do, and I'm like, dude, you have to know what you're doing. There is no, I mean, I love this, oh, you know, people are killing so many other people and blah, 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 and it's the gun's fault. And I'm like, Jesus fuck, here we go with this shit again. It's the gun's fault. It's the knife's fault. It's the rock's fault. It's the bone that somebody stabbed in a motherfucker neck's fault. It's the you know, and it's funny because that logic only applies towards violence, right? You don't look at a fat person and blame a fork, right? It's fucking dumb. It's fucking dumb. I love the memes that I've seen lately where it's like, oh, all you kids that are against gun control and stuff, well, you know, cell phones contribute to a lot of deaths from, you know, auto accidents and stuff, so we're taking your phone and we're taking your car. You know, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly it, right? Brian says MK Ultra manipulation. Yeah, well, a lot of lessons learned from MK. It's not, you know, it's not. That's not a fictitious statement. A lot of the stuff that has been learned with the MK Ultra programs and some of the other things are actively being deployed against us on a daily basis. But, you know, people don't understand that. They don't understand all of the social atrocities that have been perpetrated against us and continue to be perpetrated against us on a daily basis, including things of social networking, all of the Facebooks, the Twitters, all this stuff. Those are all the things that are contributing to these symptoms that we're all looking at going, what the fuck is wrong with people? You know, it's like, oh, let's go open up a tub of ice cream and lick it and film ourselves so we can get likes. What the fuck, people? It's like, you just gotta shake your head and go, seriously? And here's the sad thing. A lot of times the parents, they're not really bad people. They're not to blame. They're struggling. They're trying their best to do things. And their kids are out acting like assholes because, you know, they don't think mommy and daddy are going to come across it. And then suddenly they get caught up and they're like, oh, I didn't know that was a felony. No. Well, blah, blah, blah. It's like, Okay, you knew it was fucking dumb. You knew it was a fucking dumb thing to do, but you chose to do it. You know. Anyway, we will have a social credit score soon. Yeah, I know. They're working on that shit. They're definitely working on that. I'd like to go back to 80s, free love, cocaine, no cell phones. You know what? It's funny. Um, I was just. So here's the funny thing. If you look at the 90s, um, statistically speaking, the 90s was probably one of the most dangerous time periods to be alive in America. If you look at the FBI crime statistics, 80s, you know, if you go late 80s into the early 90s, that was when certain other epidemics started to become more prevalent, right? But the funny thing is, I really miss the 80s just because of a sense of wonder and a sense of new things that were unraveling and the kind of feeling of amazement. And the thing that I look at is to kids today, there's things rolling out that they look at on a daily basis and go, wow, that shit's amazing. So for them, they're going through the same things we went through in the 80s, but they're just different. Totally different things. Yeah, the stream should be great. I'm green lit across the board here. I have no frame drop, nothing. Even YouTube's telling me I'm green. They're saying your shit's solid, which is amazing because I've done nothing different. But the last few episodes, whenever I mention certain things, suddenly the stream will start getting stupid. But right now, it's showing 5x5 pretty good. Um, but you know, since the nostalgia, really what we're doing is we're missing the wonder that we had when we were kids. You know what I mean? When we were kids, things were being unveiled to us, and they were magical and they were fun. Movies were like so crazy, you know. And today, the movies are still increasing and getting better each day. You know, they have more messaging and some other bullshit mixed in them. But other than that, I mean, these kids today are still being exposed to magical shit. We just miss the stuff that was magical to us. We missed the playing and having fun and doing things that, you know, we felt was super important, and we still do think is important. And I think it actually is physical play, going out, you know, hanging out with physical real life friends face to face, you know, interacting on a biological level where you got eye contact and there's chemicals and everything else that's being released where you're actually having real human interaction, not these synthetic conversations with abbreviated acronyms and things of that nature. It's just weird. So, yeah, in the 80s, it was fun. That's why we watch Stranger Things, we watch some other stuff, and we sit back and we smile and go, wow, I remember that. But, you know, if you detach yourself and you look back at that, you go, wow, that shit's silly as fuck. We were dumb as shit back then. But we were not even innocent. You know, you look at the clothing, you look at the hair. I remember the shit I used to do, used to piss my parents off, you know, and I'm sure they were thinking, God, I missed the 60s, or God, I missed the 50s, or even some of the older, I missed the 40s, right? And, you know, it's like it's each generation bemoans the next, right? We go, God, these fuckers now, look at the shit. Like I look at the power and potential that my kids have at their disposal, and it boggles my fucking mind. There's like an answer for any question within half a second, you know? And it just kind of blows your mind, you know. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens because we've gone through some different paradigms. We're going to continue to go through these paradigms. There'll be a point when robots start becoming a prevalent thing, and everybody will say, God, I remember I missed the good old days when there were no robots, or I missed the good old days when there was no artificial intelligence, or I missed the good old days when there were no fucking aliens here. You know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be something. There's always going to be something that plagues society, and there's always going to be something that we're going to look back fondly at and go, God, remember how good it was? It's like the proverbial grass is green on the other side. You know, like I look around at all the stuff going on and I'm irritated, I'm frustrated. But at the same time, I do also look around and take inventory of all of the good shit that's going on as well. I mean, the fact that now, even though in some ways it's harder, in some other ways but I can actually produce and print out a book without a publisher, without a massive giant printing press, which isn't going to necessarily break the bank. That's amazing. What's up, magic in the fucking house? You know. All right, backwoods. I'll see you later, brother. Better late than never. Yep. So yeah, magic's another one that I think about on a regular basis and worry about. You know. Let's see what's happening, crew. Now, just talking about stuff. So, you know, it's just one of those things, guys, where there's a lot of fun stuff, there's a lot of shitty stuff, but you know, you just gotta remember who you are, be true to yourself, and just not let these cocksuckers come in and influence things to the point where we just, you know, we get lost in the bullshit. Let's see, Brian says, I remember in the 80s we had robots in the house getting us drinks and food. Then it stopped and couldn't work all of a sudden. Well, you know what's funny is you go back in the 80s, they were saying by the time 1999 rolled around, it was supposed to be this dystopian, you know, wasteland. All remember all those 80 movies like Cyborg with Von Damme and you know, shit, even Prince, 1999. It's like Jetsons. We all thought we'd be fucking by 2019. Shit, we thought we'd be in flying cars with the fucking Jetsons and shit. You know, it just shows how stupid mankind is. I mean, we easily have the technology available. Shit, they got a guy over in the UK flying around with a jetpack. Flying on and off of boats and, you know, all this other shit. It's like they could have flying cars by now, but they know, fuck, it's already a dangerous enough a situation having just regular fuckers drive normal cars, let alone something that could drop down on top of another person. You know, could you imagine that shit? Fucking all the people that are doing these horrible things with cars right now, you know, as far as terrorist type activity. Can you imagine you have a car that could fly, the type of shit you could do? You imagine 15 cars building up velocity, flying towards a stadium, all loaded up with explosives. And even if they get, you know, EMP'd and they start free falling, there's still momentum that's going to push those things forward. And they land inside of a fucking stadium. Even if the cars don't blow up, they land inside the fucking nosebleed section. You're going to kill a good fucking 20, 30 people. So, you know, then they wonder, well, why don't we have to? Because people are the fucking weakest link. You know, that's why they're like, okay, let's do these driving cars. After they get the self-driving cars and they get the AI worked out, then they will say, okay, now we'll baby step in flying vehicles. You know what I mean? Which is, you know, it's kind of funny. Yeah, drunk flying American Air, you know. But it's just one of those things, guys. And so this was again just kind of update all the stuff going on. Some one thing I did want to point out, and this is kind of playing to, you know, making things better again. So when I was at FanX, remember I told you there were literally dozens upon dozens of vendors all selling the exact same shit. And they were all sitting there competing with the same types of products, okay? But you get one guy, he makes a little tweak in the presentation, okay? Inside the presentation, puts it inside a protective case, adds a little strip of double-sided tape on the bottom, prints out a thing that goes in there, give you a little, what do you call those? Donoramas or something like that. The piece in the back that gives you a little bit of flavor behind the actual figure. Doesn't add a whole lot on the price point, and guess which one I go gonzo for? I go for the guy who thinks outside the box and gives a better presentation and a better product, right? That's really what's missing now. You know, back when I was younger, it was always about, hey, how to out hustle each other. How do you out hustle? The person who's out hustling, giving the best product, best price point, everything else, that's the motherfucker that's going to win. Same deal with homeboy who did this one, right? Unofficial guide to the anatomy of Pokemon, right? Just, he could have sold just prints by himself, just a fucking print, you know, and you could pick the Pokemon that you like. He said, oh, I want to buy this one for $5. He said, nah, fuck that. He put it in a book format, sold the bitch for $35, and he was selling these some bitches like you wouldn't believe. That's what I'm talking about. So people need to be, if you want to compete and you want to put stuff out, you got to find ways to really stand out in a crowd. And that's kind of the antithesis or the anti-statement of what society is trying to make everybody do. They're trying to make everybody fit together in this cohesive web of, oh, there is no I in team shit, right? It's like, you know what? Fuck that. Be the unique individual. Be the motherfucker that stands out. But be authentic in your standing out. Like, I think a lot of problems that we're seeing with some of these different groups of people is everybody is trying to be unique, but in their effort to try to be unique, they're not being unique. They're actually being just like each other. They're fitting into this other model. It's like, oh, okay, instead, be unique not in the way you look, but in your actions. You know what I mean? Be unique in that you are trying to do your vision, your dreams. Hold yourself up. Don't look for other people to help you. You do your own shit, and then you be proud of what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Cream, cash rules everything, and mankind. Cream, cash rules everything around me. $dollar bill, y'all. Let's see. There is an I, and I'll punch you in the throat, dumbass. Yeah, really, right? I hate that. I haven't been here in a while, but I love seeing new names in here. Yeah, dude, I get it. You're one of the dedicated long-term crew. You'll always be, my bro. Don't worry about it. You got shit you're dealing with. You handle. I'm always trying to keep pushing stuff out and keep things going and everything. So you're good, man. Don't even worry about it. So anyway, that's going to be it. We're going to start winding this down. I got about another 2 minutes left in the show. But again, oh no, Stevie G's been around for a while. Stevie G. There is an I in team. It's in the A. Yeah, I've seen that one too. I like that one actually. There is no I in team. It's like, you know what? It's like, if you look at every big sporting team, right, there's always one motherfucker that stands out, right? He's like the MVP. It's like, yeah, he works for the team and everything else, but he is the unique individual that gets shit done. Whether he rallies the team, whether he does the support, whether he takes the hits, whatever, it doesn't matter. There's always standout individuals that get shit done. Now imagine if the world were filled with a shit ton of that, No, I know. I think he's saying new to him because Magic hasn't been here as consistently as he'd like to, So he's just happy to see the crew growing. That's all he's saying, So anyway, the point I was trying to make is, you guys need to be the authentic you. Fucking find the shit that's important to you and rock and roll it, and ignore the rest of these fucking retards, because there is a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? It was good to digitally communicate with you too, nutjob. Alright guys, that's going to be it for now. If you like it, please subscribe, tell your friends far and wide. Until next time, motherfuckers, please be good to yourself, good to each other, go out, live life to the fullest, ride the bus till the wheels fall off, get some scars, find some love and all that jazz. And I will see you guys tomorrow on the Robert R. Ricks show. And also, I did want to remind you guys that I do have a ton of content that I am making and putting out right now. And there is something here for anybody. So if you guys are ever kind of curious in the stuff that I'm working on, go to robertrricks.com. You'll see stuff there. And we will be doing the real-time story time tomorrow night at this time. And that one is a lot of fun. So you guys come in, give me keywords. I have 2.5 minutes to make a story. And then I try to make it happen. All right, guys. I will see some of you tomorrow. And I will see the rest of you guys next week. Later.